Stand next to the largest animals alive today: a bull elephant, a grizzly bear on its hind legs, a moose in full antler, and they feel enormous, unbeatable, the biggest life gets. Now, put them beside what walked the Ice Age, and they shrink to house pets. Because the Ice Age didn't just have big animals. It built giants on a scale evolution has never matched since. A rhino the size of an elephant, a bear that could look over the roof of your house, a deer with antlers wider than a car. Every single one of the 7 animals on this list would make the biggest creature you've ever seen look small. And number 1 may be the largest land mammal since the age of dinosaurs. We tend to think of extinct animals as strange, but the thing that really separates the Ice Age from today isn't strangeness, it's scale. For a stretch of the last few 100,000 years, the cold, grassy world of the Pleistocene grew the biggest version of almost every animal you can name. Bigger deer, bigger cats, bigger bears, bigger rhinos, bigger elephants. Over the next 10 minutes, we're counting down 7 of them, each measured against its closest living relative. So you can see exactly how much bigger the world used to build. Stay to the end, because the higher up the list we go, the more the numbers stop sounding real. First, why? In a cold world, being big is an advantage. A larger body holds heat better and can survive brutal winters that would kill a smaller one. Add vast, open grasslands, feeding enormous herds, and evolution had both a reason to grow giants and the food to fuel them. So it did, again and again, across completely unrelated families. Let's start the countdown at number 7. Number 7 is an animal you already know, just blown up to a size that shouldn't exist. Meet Castorides, the giant beaver, which lumbered across North America until around 11,000 years ago. A beaver today weighs around 25 kilograms, a chunky, impressive rodent. Castorides could reach the length of a person, roughly 2 meters nose to tail, and weigh up to 100 kilograms. That's not a big beaver. That's a beaver the size of a black bear. Picture the animal gnawing trees at your local pond. Then scale it up until it outweighs you, teeth included, incisors as long as your fingers. It's the perfect opening to this list, because it proves the rule everything else follows. Take a familiar animal, drop it into the Ice Age, and it comes back a giant. And the giant beaver is the smallest thing we're covering today. From here, they only get bigger. Number 6 carried the largest antlers any animal has ever grown. Megaloceros, the so-called Irish elk, though it was really a giant deer, ranged across Europe and Asia and survived in places until just a few thousand years ago. A modern moose is already a huge animal, with an antler span of maybe 1.5 meters. Megaloceros carried antlers that spanned up to 3.5 meters, nearly 12 feet, from tip to tip. That's wider than a car is long, grown fresh and shed every single year, on the head of a single animal. It stood as tall at the shoulder as a large horse, and above that rode a crown of bone so vast it seems physically impossible. Stand a modern deer next to it, and the deer looks like a fawn. This was a browsing herbivore, not even a predator, and it was still built on a scale that would stop you in your tracks. But antlers are for display and dueling. The next giant on this list used its size to hunt. Number 5 is the largest cat that ever stalked the Ice Age. Panthera atrox, the American lion, ruled the open country of North America until around 11,000 years ago. A male African lion today weighs around 190 kilograms, the apex predator of its world. The American lion was roughly 25% larger, with weight estimates running past 400 kilograms for the biggest individuals. That's not a lion. That's a lion scaled up until it could look a grizzly in the eye. Everything a modern lion is, the power, the ambush, the killing bite. This animal was, plus a size class beyond anything alive today. If you dropped one into a modern safari, it wouldn't just be the biggest cat there. It would be the biggest cat the continent had seen in 10,000 years. And yet, even the largest cat wasn't the largest predator. Number 4 could have eaten it. Number 4 is the animal that makes the grizzly, one of the most feared predators alive, look mid-sized. The giant short-faced bear stood as high as 12 feet on its hind legs and weighed close to 2,000 pounds. A large grizzly weighs around 600 pounds and, standing up, reaches maybe 8 feet. The short-faced bear more than tripled that weight and towered a full 4 feet higher, tall enough to look over the roof of a house, on long legs built to run down prey across open ground. We made an entire video on this monster. It's on screen now. But on a size list, it earns its place instantly. It may be the largest meat-eating land mammal North America has ever produced. Put it beside the biggest bear alive today, and today's bear looks like its cub. But size on 4 legs is one thing. The next animal was a giant with a weapon on its face. Number 3 was a rhinoceros, built at the scale of an elephant. Elasmotherium, nicknamed the Siberian unicorn, roamed the Eurasian steppe, and remarkably, some populations survived until around 39,000 years ago, close enough to have been seen by early humans. A modern white rhino, the second largest land animal alive, weighs around 2.5 tons. Elasmotherium is estimated to have reached the size of a small elephant, stood taller at the shoulder than any rhino today, and, by many reconstructions, carried a single enormous horn on its forehead. An animal that size, with a horn like that, crossing the open plains, may well be the origin of the unicorn legends humans later told. Stand a modern rhino beside it, and the modern rhino looks compact, almost tidy. And we're now into the range where the animals stop being oversized versions of the familiar and start being something genuinely other. Number 2 was the largest of them all on land, until you meet number 1. Number 2 is bigger than the mammoth everyone pictures. When you imagine a woolly mammoth, you're imagining an animal roughly the size of a modern elephant. But the steppe mammoth, its larger ancestor, was in another league entirely. An African elephant, the largest land animal alive today, stands around 3 and a bit meters at the shoulder and weighs about 6 tons. The steppe mammoth stood up to 4 meters at the shoulder, over 13 feet, and weighed as much as 10 to 14 tons. That's more than twice the mass of the biggest animal walking the earth right now, carrying tusks that could stretch longer than a car. The woolly mammoth we all know was, in size terms, the small one. Its ancestor was a walking wall of muscle and ivory that made a modern elephant look like a juvenile. And still, it isn't number 1, because one Ice Age giant may have been the largest land mammal since the dinosaurs. Number 1 is a contender for the largest land mammal that has existed in 66 million years. Paleoloxodon, the giant straight-tusked elephant, lived across Ice Age Eurasia, and the largest individuals pushed the limits of what land can even support. From a single massive fossil leg bone, some researchers have estimated the biggest of these elephants stood around 5 meters at the shoulder and weighed in the region of 20 tons or more. Let me put that in scale. That's over 15 feet at the shoulder. It's more than 3 times the weight of a large modern elephant. A grown adult human standing beside it would not reach its knee. Now, that top-end estimate comes from fragmentary remains and is genuinely debated among scientists, so treat the very largest numbers with caution. But even the conservative reconstructions describe an elephant far bigger than anything alive today. An animal so massive that the modern elephant, the giant of our world, would stand beside it like a calf. That is where the Ice Age topped out, and nothing has grown to fill that space since. Line these 7 up, and the pattern is impossible to miss. a beaver the size of a bear, a deer with a crown wider than a car, a rhino built like an elephant, and an elephant bigger than anything that has walked the earth in 66 million years. The largest animals of our world, the elephant, the bear, the lion, the moose, are, almost every one of them, the shrunken survivors of something far greater. The Ice Age was the last great age of giants. We're living in the quiet, smaller world it left behind. This is Frozen Giants. Next time, the monsters that survived far more recently than you'd ever believe, some of them still alive during human history. It's on your screen now. I'll see you in the ice.